Hey chums, and welcome back to another video. Now this week I'm going to be taking you through my top 10 gift ideas for cake decorators. Yep, for the third year in a row I asked you what you were most hoping to find underneath your Christmas tree this Christmas morning and have assembled 10 of the most popular suggestions to share with the rest of you. That way, if you are stumped when somebody asks you that question, what would you like for Christmas? Hopefully you can just show them this video and jobs are good in. Now, as with last year's video, I've tried to exclude any sort of repetition by making sure I don't feature products that we've seen before. That doesn't mean, however, that those products aren't still fantastic suggestions. So I'll link 2019 and 2020's videos down in the video description so that you can check those out as well. We've got an awful lot to get through, so I guess we better get to the video. Now we're going to kick things off today with our big ticket item. We always have one. Sometimes I leave it for the end of the video, but today I'm going to put it right at the start because this is definitely something you've seen here on my channel before, and it's something you've seen me using in previous videos. And that is the new K-Mix Pastels range from Kenwood. Now I'm only using a one camera filming setup today, so rather than have another camera to show you the product in focus so you can see it properly, I'm just going to hold them up. But for this one, it's quite heavy, but this is what it looks like. And again, you have seen this in my videos before, so I'm not going to spend loads of time showing you the ins and outs of it now. What I might do is insert some footage of me actually using it in one of my other videos. What I particularly love about the new Pastels range is that it includes colours that we haven't seen from Kenwood in a while, including this one, which is a gorgeous pale pink colour, matching my studio perfectly. I know lots of people were really excited when I filmed my original unboxing video for this mixer, which I will link up in the corner. But naturally, it's as sturdy and robust as we've come to expect from Kenwood products, particularly the K-Mix range, and this one has already been put through its paces, making everything from cupcakes and cakes through to breads, pastry, and who knows what else besides. Now these are available from a variety of retailers, but what I will do is pop a link down in the video description to where I found the best price at the time of this video going live. And because this has tended to be my go-to mixer of choice, at least recently, if you have any questions about it at all, feel free to head down to the comments and ask away, because I feel I've got to know it pretty well. But one more time, item number one on the list was the new K-Mix Pastels range from Kenwood. And now I'm going to put this down. Now we're sticking with the pink theme for item number two on the list as well, and that is one of these. Now this is one of the self-healing cutting mats that we see quite a lot of creators using in their videos, particularly people like Zoe's Fancy Cakes. Now very conveniently, fellow YouTuber Zoe also has her own fully stocked cake decorating supply shop as well. So anytime you see her using a product in her videos, it's highly likely you can buy that product in store. And that's exactly what I did with this. Now Zoe, I think, uses a grey Ancio self-healing cutting mat, but when I checked out her store earlier this year and found this one in pink, again, matching my studio perfectly, I definitely was going to have to pick it up. It has proved incredibly useful and honestly is worth its weight in gold because it's such a decent size. It means I can essentially do a whole project just working on this board. And what's even more exciting is it's double-sided. So if you're not a fan of the pink, flip it over and you've got purple instead. Now these Ancio self-healing cutting mats actually come in a whole range of colours as well, so don't feel that you are limited to just these nice pinks and purples. I know it comes in blues, greens, blacks, greys, you name it. If you've been in the market for a self-healing cutting mat that's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than the traditional bottle green or racing green colour, then make sure you ask Santa to head to Zoe's Fancy Cakes at the link in the video description and pick you up an Ancio self-healing cutting mat. Now while we're on the subject of Zoe's Fancy Cakes, item number three is actually a product that Zoe developed herself. You've seen the original versions here on my channel before, and in fact these newer versions were included in my Black Friday haul video that went up a few weeks ago. Regular viewers will probably already have worked out that I'm talking about Zoe's new modelling paste moulds. Now Zoe actually launched her face moulds, gosh, it must be a couple of years ago now. I don't know about you, but since COVID, time has lost kind of all sense of meaning. But this year at Cake International in November, which again was only last month, she released her brand new full figure moulds, including the female figure mould, the full child figure mould, and the full baby figure mould. Alongside those, she also added some new faces to the lineup as well, giving us another female face mould and a couple of different varieties of male face mould as well. If you're someone who makes a lot of figures to go on top of your cakes, or you're just not particularly confident at creating figures yourselves, then these kits should hopefully help you make short work of any figures that you might need to make in the future. They're exclusively available from the Zoes Fancy Cakes store, which again is linked down in the video description. And if you've had a go at using these already, then we would love to hear from you down in the comments, because as you can see, mine are still in the box at the moment. I'm actually hoping to film a video with Zoe using these new kits very soon, so stay tuned to the channel for that, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit the big red button so that you won't miss it. And don't forget, if you would like to see them in action before that, Zoe does have a whole range of tutorials over on her YouTube channel, which again I'll also link down in the video description. Now the next item on our list is something you've seen on my channel before. Again, I promise they're not all things you've seen before on my channel though. And that is the Bake Off box, which is a subscription box service from the team behind the Great British Bake Off. Now this originally launched at the start of 2020, and I've got a video which I'll link up in the corner where we baked along with the first box. What I've got here is the December box, which I purchased right back at the start of November actually, and it did only arrive yesterday, so that's the only thing I will say. They're not particularly regular with when they come out. They do just tend to turn up as and when. Now fortunately this wasn't a Christmas cake decorating project, because of course it would be a little bit late to start baking our Christmas cakes now. But what it does include is a Christmas gingerbread cake decorated with homemade gingerbread biscuits. Now just like the box that we baked along with earlier this year, it comes with all of the dry ingredients that you need to create this recipe, including flour, dark soft brown sugar, a mixed spice blend, and some icing sugar, and then a recipe card that tells you all of the other ingredients that you're going to need, and of course the full instructions on how to make the spiced gingerbread cake and the gingerbread biscuits to decorate it with. The Bake Off box also includes a monthly extra item as well. Some of you may remember that the box we decorated along with earlier this year included that cake stand over there, which I am still using, and the December box includes your very own Great British Bake Off apron, which looks like this. Well, this is a very flattering angle. What I do like about all of the things that come in these kits is that they are all in that same kind of duck egg type colour palette, which means that they all go together beautifully. And they're all things that you can make use of with other baking projects as well. They're not specifically for that one particular bake. Oh, we've also got some piping bags and some templates for our gingerbread houses. Now ideally I would have liked to have had time to bake along with this box in time for this video as well, but as I say, it did only arrive yesterday and there just simply hasn't been time, so my apologies for that. But again, you may recall that when we did the original box, we were pretty happy with the bake that we were able to achieve. So if you are someone who is a fan of the Great British Bake Off, or you know someone who is, then they may well be interested in checking out the Bake Off box from the Great British Bake Off. What I also like as well is you don't have to subscribe to the whole thing. You can buy all of those boxes individually as well. So if you're looking for something a little bit more friendly to your wallet, or for Santa's wallet, then it may be worth just picking them up the one box instead of the whole subscription. But I'll leave that up to you to decide. So yes, item number 4 was the Bake Off box from the team behind the Great British Bake Off. Now the next item is something we haven't seen on my channel before, and that's because they're pretty much brand new. Regular viewers will know that I am a huge fan of Natalie Porter of Immaculate Confections, and she actually joined me here for a remote live tutorial where she showed me how to create an edible rose, which I don't think you can quite see, but it's just out of view up on the shelf over there. Rather than try and remove it from the container I've got it in, what I'll do is I'll just link the video up in the corner so you can go and watch it if you'd be interested in finding out how to make your own sugar roses. But alongside her stunning floral work, Natalie is also an expert when it comes to colour. She actually has a book all about how to use colours in ways that complement each other and really bring your sugar flowers to life. But that's not the item I want to share with you today, because again, launched for Cake International last month in November, Natalie released her own range of tea towels and they are absolutely stunning. I think the one that stood out to me the most was this one here, which features the colour wheel, which is a central part of Natalie's book all about colour, and it shows you the sorts of colours that work well together, because those of you who did art at school will know that when you are trying to choose colours that complement each other, you tend to want to go directly across the colour wheel to find an opposing shade that will work well with it. I have to say, my favourite tea towel in the collection though is this one. If you've ever watched Natalie's videos before, you'll know that she's developed a bit of a bank of catchphrases, all of which have been lovingly recalled onto this tea towel, including things like woefully underprepared, expert twiddler, pokey tool, little yellow box of doom, which I believe refers to a tape cutter for florist tape. Oh, and of course the iconic Boss the Paste. Now, if you know somebody who's into making sugar flowers, then chances are they are already a fan of Natalie Porter of Immaculate Confections. And so, her new range of tea towels, which by the way, do include other versions, it's not just these two, would make an absolutely perfect gift for them. And again, I'll pop a link in the video description to where you can find these over on Natalie's website. Oh, and between you and I believe aprons are on the way soon as well. Item number 6 on our list is another new product that came out this year, and this one would be perfect if you know anyone or if you are into painting on cakes. Now, if you have tried painting on cakes before, you'll know that there are a few different options that you can use, including mixing dust or gel colours into a high alcohol solution such as dipping solution, or even something like lemon extract or vodka. You can also mix powder colours or oil-based paints into cocoa butter to create more of an oil paint style paint, which of course those of us who are fans of Emily Hankins will know that she is particularly well known for. However, this year a new product came onto the market from the amazing artist that is Karen Portoleo. Now, we talked about her new edible sculpting chocolate in one of my recent videos, but this was actually the first product she released in partnership with Sugarcraft, and this was her range of edible artist's oil paints. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have had these for quite a long time now, and I still haven't got round to using them, mainly because I'm incredibly intimidated by the idea of painting on cakes. But I know lots of you are big fans of doing it and do it all the time. But in the box, you essentially get 8 different tubes of paint, which have a kind of an oil paint consistency, and it includes white, black, brown, green, blue, pink, red, and yellow. And then you can either mix them with the fast diluter, which is the one that makes them dry super quickly, giving you more of a kind of a watercolour style paint effect, or the slow diluter, which makes them have more of that oil paint consistency, meaning that you've got plenty of time to blend colours together, build up layers and things like that. Now, Karen actually has a dedicated social media page on both Facebook and Instagram, I think, called Portoleo Paints, where you can check out some of the amazing results that people have been able to create with the edible artist oil paints. And she also quite often does demonstrations over there as well, meaning that you can see them in action before you ask Father Christmas to pop them under your tree this year. If you think that the edible artist oil paints would be something you would like to find in your stocking on Christmas morning, then head down to the video description where I will pop a link to where you can purchase them, or where Santa can purchase them. Keep doing that. We're almost there, we only have 4 items to go, and next up is, it's kind of a reimagining of something you have seen in action here on my channel, and that is the Chlorella Cakes airbrush and compressor set from Chlorella Cakes. Now, this was actually one of the first ever airbrushes I tried, and I have to say it's still probably the one I reach for the most often. Inside the box you will find absolutely everything you need to get started in airbrushing well, other than the airbrush colours. But can highly recommend those ones back there somewhere, which are the Molly Robbins and Rainbow Dust airbrush colours, which we have talked about here on my channel before. But yes, in the box you will find a single action airbrush, which looks like this, a 2-metre long hose to connect your airbrush to the compressor, the aforementioned compressor, and the reason why I'm including it is because actually this year Claire relaunched them with this stunning shiny gold detailing. The previous models were black and pink, and I think you'll agree that the gold really adds something to this compressor. Of course, you'll also find the mains power adapter in the box as well, a couple of airbrush holders, which are particularly helpful if you are using your airbrush for multiple colours, because you can pop it in here while you clean it out and change the colour over. And there's even some sticky feet as well, so if you work on a surface like me, I've got a stainless steel workbench, you can glue it down so the motor in the compressor isn't going to make it travel across the worktop. Everything you need to get started with airbrushing is in the box other than some airbrush colours. So if you've not tried airbrushing before and you would like to give it a go, I can highly recommend the Chlorella Cakes Airbrush and Compressor Kit. This one's actually available on Amazon, so you don't need to head to any sort of specialist retailer at all. And there are often fantastic deals to be found over on Amazon as well. So if getting to grips with airbrushing on cakes is on your New Year's resolution list for 2022, really had to think about that then be sure to ask Santa for the Chlorella Cakes Airbrush and Compressor Kit. I couldn't do my top 10 gift ideas for cake decorators without including the stunning debut book from Jane's Patisserie. I'm sure we decided patisserie. Regular viewers will know that Jane actually joined me here in the studio earlier this year, where we worked on a few different projects together, including an Ask Me Anything video and making a huge showpiece cake for her book launch party. When the book came out, I also recorded another video where I had a go at making this cake on the cover, her stunning salted caramel drip cake, and I'll include the video for that one up in the corner so you can check it out. If you haven't picked up this book yet, I do highly recommend it because Jane's recipes are always so simple, so easy to follow, full of easy hints and tips to help you achieve perfect results, and she tests her recipes so many times to make sure they are absolutely perfect before she releases them out there into the world. And I think that's so important, particularly for someone who has inspired so many people to have a go at baking, because of course if they achieve great results, they'll come back and try again. Now again, we have talked about this book a huge amount here on my channel, so I'm not going to bore you by going through it again, but do check out the video where we had a first look at the book and tried this recipe. And if you enjoy that, don't forget, we also have the video where Jane and I didn't Ask Me Anything, and where we made the cake for her launch party. Jane's book is available from every book retailer that you can think of. I think as one of the biggest selling books of the year, you'll easily be able to track it down. But if you haven't picked it up yet, then I highly recommend you do. The debut book from Jane's Patisserie by Jane Dunn. Okay, so this next item might be considered a little bit niche by some people, but regular viewers will know that I'm not just into baking cakes and decorating cakes. I enjoy all different types of baking, and one that I've really got into over the last couple of years is patisserie. Now, I was actually planning on booking myself into a residential patisserie course in the new year because it's something that I would love to get even better at, and I think developing my knowledge of patisserie can only enhance the regular baking, the cake baking and everything that I usually do as well. However, because of the world is still just very much up in the air at the moment, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I didn't want to go booking something and then having to cancel it. So when I saw that Edible Art Patisserie, which is based in Bath and Cheltenham, had launched a kind of a starter kit for people wanting to develop their skills in this genre of baking, I thought that's for me, and hopefully it will be for some of you as well. Now it looks like this, and I think they are limited edition, so there won't be a huge amount of them left. They are still live on the website at the moment, so there's definitely a few left. But if you want one of these, you might want to jump in pretty quickly. And in here, pastry chef Damien Wager, the talent behind Edible Art Patisserie, has put together kind of his essential guide for getting started in patisserie. Now I'm going to give you a very quick tour of the box. In all honesty, I think this could be a video in itself, and it probably will be a video in itself, where perhaps we have a go at one of the projects that you can create using this kit. But I just thought I'd show you very quickly what's in here so that if you fancy picking one up as well, you can do that before they sell out. So first up, there is a copy of Damien's book, Breaking the Mould, which again, I'm not going to kind of spend too much time looking at or going through with you right now because stay tuned, there will be a dedicated video when we look at this. But there is also a guide to everything that's in here. There's a couple of different tools. We've got a whisk, we've got a bench scraper, a digital thermometer, a heat-proof spatula, there's a piping tip, we've got some piping bags, we've got some acetate sheets, some hemisphere moulds. I might put some of that down. There's a silicone mat. And then there are some samples of various ingredients that the book mentions, including some white chocolate, some cocoa butter, a couple of different powder colours for using with chocolate. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce this. I want to say micrio, but this is kind of like tempering aid, which we saw when we looked at the subscription box from Dragons and Daffodils Cakes. But this is really helpful if you struggle to temper chocolate. And as a rather nice touch, there is also a gift voucher in there as well to use in the edible art patisseries, either in Bath or in Cheltenham, so that you can go in and purchase some examples of what hopefully you'll be able to create once you have got to grips with patisserie. Because this is going to be a dedicated video, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time talking about it now, but if you would like to join me on my journey as I get to grips with patisserie, then head to the link down in the video description and pick yourself up a pastry starter kit from Edible Art Patisserie, and of course make sure you are subscribed to my channel right here on YouTube so that we can have a go at one of the projects together. The last item on our list is back to our pink colour palette. And it's a product that I know some of you will already be aware of, because whenever you see me using it in my video, I get the comments from people saying, oh, is that the from And the answer is always, why of course it is. What are we talking about? Why, it's the non-stick extra large Sugarcraft board from Sugar and Crumbs, also known as the Sugar and Crumbs Big Pink Board. Now again, this is something you have seen me using in my videos, including my 6 Christmas cakes tutorial video that went up last week, and I will link up in the corner. This board is absolutely fantastic for working with sugar paste. It is non-stick, which means you can roll out straight onto it without having to use any corn flour or icing sugar. And for me personally, I just find working on a board rather than straight onto the worktop it makes me be more contained. It doesn't hurt that it is pink, because pink is my favourite colour, and naturally that means it ties in with the studio really well. But I just think it is something that makes life easier to work with. Obviously other boards in other colours are available from other retailers, but I know the big pink one has a huge number of fans out there in our cake decorating community. And so if there are people out there who haven't yet discovered the wonder that is the Sugar and Crumbs pink boards, then I will put a link down in the video description. It is available in quite a few different sizes as well. As I say, this is the extra large one, but they are available in smaller sizes. And again, if the price is a little bit steep for you and your budget, then other retailers do sell other boards in other colours that are slightly more affordable. But I have to say, this was something that was on my wish list for a very long time before I ended up caving in and treating myself to it. So if you would like a large pink workboard that is just slightly prettier than the standard green that I think a lot of them usually are, then the link for this one will be down in the video description, and once you're there you can also have a look through the other sizes as well. I have a feeling, I could have dreamt this, but I have a feeling that Sugar and Crumbs also then did a range of the same boards but in grey, because a lot of their customers were saying that they had a grey theme for their kitchens, and so therefore they wanted one that would tie in nicely with their kitchen. So hopefully that's there as well. In fact, I'll just check. Yes, they are in fact available in grey as well, so if you would like a slightly more toned down, kitchen friendly colour, well, I mean, my kitchen's pink, but kitchen friendly if you have a more muted colour palette, then they are also available in grey. Now, just before we wrap things up, I did want to give a couple of honourable mentions, which I usually do in these videos. One of which was another book that came out around the same time as the Jane's Patisserie book, and that was the book from Finch Bakery. Now, Lauren and Rachel Finch run Finch Bakery and are well known on social media for their absolutely stunning cakes and bakes. And again, their book came out around the same time as Jane's, but because I kind of went all in on the Jane content, I didn't really do anything with the Finch Bakery book. I did ask at the time if anyone would like to see me have a go at one of these projects to let me know, and I didn't really get much of a response. But that question still stands. If you would like to see me tackle one of these bakes, then do let me know. But I've heard fantastic things about this book. I know lots of people did pick it up when it came out and were really happy with it. So again, if you are in the market for a book, maybe you've already got the Jane book but would like another one, Finch Bakery had fantastic reviews, and again, Lauren and Rachel are just fantastic at what they do, so well worth picking this up and having a go. If you are thinking about picking up the Karen Portolao Edible Artist's Oil Paints, then of course you are also going to need some brushes. And I've already mentioned her by name, but also I wanted to shout out that Emily Hankins launched her own set of paintbrushes for use when painting on cakes this year too. As you can see, this is what they look like, and because Emily is just such a talented painter on cakes, there should be a name for that, cake painter. But anyway, she is fantastic, so you know that if she's brought out a brush collection, it's going to be absolutely perfect. So if you were thinking of picking up the Karen Portolao paints, why not treat yourself to the Emily Hankins paintbrush set at the same time. And last but not least, if you are planning on picking up the Chlorella Cakes airbrush and compressor kit, which we looked at earlier on, then I mentioned it at the time, but it's well worth picking up a set of the airbrush colours from Molly Robbins with Rainbow Dust. I've used these, they are absolutely fantastic, and I've used them not just for airbrushing, but also for hand painting details as well. So if you are thinking you'd like to get into airbrushing and you want some colours that you know you can rely on, highly recommend the Molly Robbins colours, which are again available from most leading cake decorating supplies retailers. But yeah, so that was the 2021 edition of my top 10 gift ideas for cake decorators. Whether you decide that you're going to treat yourself, whether you're going to shove this video in the face of your nearest and dearest so that they can choose a present for you, or whether you just want to stay abreast of the latest developments in baking and cake decorating product innovation, then hopefully this video has been super helpful. And if you did enjoy it, please do, as always, pop a like down below by clicking on the thumbs up icon. If it's your first time watching a video here on my YouTube channel, then don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button before you go. That will help make sure that you don't miss another video. And if you click on the bell icon, you'll even get a push notification. Now, I'm not planning on taking a break over the festive period, so hopefully I will see you at the same time next week for another video on Monday at 6 PM. But if I don't speak to you beforehand and you are celebrating, please let me wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and all of the best wishes for health, wealth, and happiness in 2022. And until next time, take care and happy caking. Bye.